The Pittsburgh Steelers have become unlimited. It's all about being unlimited. When you sign Russell Wilson to one of the cheapest contracts for a starting quarterback I've seen in years. 1 year? $1.2 million? That's less than the Patriots signed Cam Newton to. That's wild. Russell Wilson has been stolen. The Steelers have robbed the NFL. And Russell Wilson, a potential future Hall of Famer, is signing a $1.2 million contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers to at least compete for their starting job, if not already take it. Because Russell Wilson, I felt, was always a great get for the Steelers for a variety of reasons. And I'll get into those reasons. But first, Gronk spike the like button. If you're a Steelers fan, you might not want to Gronk spike the like button. You already saw him score enough touchdowns against your team. So Heath Miller, yes, I got you. Spike that like button. And let's discuss Danger Russ to the Steelers. Also, let me know in the comments what you guys think about this move. I want to hear from Steeler fans especially. Russell Wilson. I think this is fascinating. He was always a good fit for the Steelers. You look at the timeline of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and you look at the strengths, you look at the weaknesses, and you look at the players on the team. First, you have a defense that features one of the best players in the NFL, TJ Watt. Has an aging but still really darn good Cam Hayward. Has a in his prime Minkah Fitzpatrick. Mike Tomlin is a head coach, like it or not, one of the best coaches in football, but like it or not, a head coach who has not won a playoff game since 2016. Wild to think of. Pressure is on him to get to the playoffs. Pressure is on him to make something happen because the fan base is not exactly happy as of late. The way that he handled the offensive coordinator situation, the way that they have been playing football in general the last couple of years, despite making the playoffs, they were one of the ugliest playoff teams I've ever seen. Offensively, they have a couple good receivers. Pickens is on the rise, and Deontay Johnson is well compensated for his efforts. Have a pretty good tight end, a dynamic duo in the backfield, and an up-and-coming offensive line. This is a team that was missing a quarterback. They do have other needs in the secondary specifically, maybe on the offensive line. There are a few things they could definitely use. But the quarterback position is the position that has been holding them back since losing Ben Roethlisberger to retirement. And Russell Wilson is an aging quarterback who is just coming off a massive trade where he landed with the Denver Broncos. He was in a terrible situation in year one, given one of the worst head coaches I've ever seen in Hackett. And a really, really tough situation to go in and win in year one. In year two, he plays a little bit better. Quite frankly, a lot better. His stats are actually fairly impressive. And they go one game below 500 with a new head coach, one in the same lane as Mike Tomlin, a future Hall of Fame coach in Sean Payton. Now, an offensive guy, not a defensive guy. But I actually think Russell Wilson fits better in Pittsburgh than Denver. And let me explain. Russ is a quarterback that is not a structure-first quarterback. He's not somebody to go through his first, second, third read, rip the ball to his third read on the in-breaker. He's not going to perfectly read everything. He's not going to throw every throw that you think's available for him to make. And that's a flaw in his game. But what Russell Wilson has always done at an elite level is extend plays, is make magic happen, is throw deep, arcing, beautiful deep balls, and is get outside the pocket and throw lasers on crossers, lasers on corner routes, deep down the field. not turn the football over, scramble when he needs to scramble, be athletic, be a leader, be situationally great on third down, in the red zone, in the fourth quarter, comebacks, always been great, and work through a running game, a play action game, and a defense. Denver and Sean Payton and that mix and that clash of offensive genius, system guy, right? You gotta run my plays to the T. Now he goes to Mike Tomlin, a leader of men, a defensive guy, a gritty coach, toughness, culture. Russell Wilson played for Pete Carroll. That's where he had his most success. And Pete Carroll and Mike Tomlin have many similarities. They're both very positive. They're leaders of men. They're about culture over scheme. And they're defensive coaches first. Russ is better when he's free. And in Arthur Smith's offense, he's going to have a reliable running game with Najee Harris, with Jaylen Warren. He's going to have a vertical threat, a big X receiver on the outside, and George Pickens that he can throw the deep arcing ball to, that he can count on back shoulders on third down. He's going to have a shifty slot receiver or inside receiver in Deontay Johnson, and also Calvin Austin, who I also like. And that's similar to Tyler Lockett. So think DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, George Pickens, Deontay Johnson. Maybe not the same speed profile there, but pretty similar. A reliable tight end on third down and in the red zone. You've got that. A back out of the backfield when he needs it. So there's a lot of things that make sense. Arthur Smith runs a power running scheme. He wants to run the ball more than he throws it. He's got a quarterback that can extend plays and run when he needs to. He's got a quarterback that can run read option when he needs to, that can run some quarterback design stuff if you want him to. He's really good off of play action, especially throwing the ball vertically. And so getting outside the pocket won't be an issue. There's a lot of things that Russ brings. Russ is better than any quarterback Arthur Smith has had in Atlanta. That's a fact. Marcus Mariota, Desmond Ridder. The offense is going to execute better because Russ can make more plays with his arm and his legs. And he's a better quarterback than Kenny Pickett right now. And he's only for $1.2 million. And I think a lot of people are going to make a lot of the Russell Wilson personality, the unlimited cheesiness of Russell Wilson. And that's fine. But Russell Wilson is a winner in the NFL. Russell Wilson has had success consistently in the NFL. He's a hardworking guy. And now he has a chip on his shoulder. He's been booted out of town by Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos. He's playing for his career this year. So if you want to count on a guy that has a chip on his shoulder, why not Russell Wilson? Why not? There is literally no downside to this signing. Literally zero. Negative. $1.2 million? $38 million is being paid by another team. There is no downside to this move. The only thing Steelers fans can argue is that maybe they should have gone all in for Kirk Cousins. But maybe that wasn't the right move. Now in Russell Wilson, you have a guy that's won a lot of games with good defenses, with good running games, with defensive coaching. And Russ can do all the right things. We saw it last year for them to win games, get back to the playoffs, and potentially be more of a threat in the playoffs, and potentially have more ceiling than the Steelers had last year. Think about it. 7-8 last season, 3,000 yards, 26 touchdowns to only 8 picks. The numbers look better drastically than the year before with 16 touchdowns, 11 picks. The completion percentage was up 6%, which is actually relatively high for his career. He ended up leading the league in fourth quarter comebacks and game-winning drives. And a deceptively solid season from Russell Wilson last year at 35 years old. I believe he's going to be 36 this year. He's not physically the same player he used to be, but he still has above average arm strength. He still has the ability to be elusive in the pocket and to get outside and run. And it's not the same, but it's still good enough. And so you're talking about going from Mason Rudolph to Russell Wilson, Kenny Pickett to Russell Wilson. Wilson can do all that they did and more, and manage the game better. So I think this is a win-win. Russ gets to prove with a decent situation around him that he can still play, if he can. And Tomlin gets a reliable winning quarterback that's a veteran that knows how to win games in the NFL that he can count on in the fourth quarter when his defense is in a tight game. Because that's what Mike Tomlin does. Tight football games. Manage the game. This is a perfect pairing in that regard. Russell Wilson is still a decent quarterback. He's not top 15. He's not bottom 5. He's somewhere in between. But that's an upgrade for the Steelers. That's an upgrade. And it's only for $1.2 million. So if I was a Steelers fan, I'd be excited. It's a big name. It's a guy I can root for. It's a guy I can get excited about. And he's a guy that has upside. Like, who knows? Russ could really rejuvenate himself in a new situation. You never know. It could happen. Especially with a guy like Arthur Smith calling plays, who I'm pretty high on as an offensive coordinator, not as a head coach. So I really like the Russell Wilson signing. I think it fits the Steelers. I think it fits their personality. It fits their scheme. It fits their team. It fits their culture all the way around. So prepare to be unlimited in Pittsburgh. Now, I want to touch on one thing for all the other fans out there, because my New England Patriots re-signed Kendrick Bourne today, and I just want to give a quick shout out to Kendrick Bourne for re-signing with the New England Patriots. I'm happy about it, and if you're a Patriots fan, you should be too. It's a 3-year deal for Kendrick Bourne. He's going to come back and compete for a spot as a number 2 or number 3 receiver on this club. I thought he was their most productive and most dangerous receiver since Mac Jones' rookie season of 2021. He was their best receiver, in my opinion, in 2021 and in 2023. And unfortunately, he got hurt and he's working his way back from a ACL and a knee injury. But he's got an infectious attitude. He's a good leader in the locker room. He's a positive vibe guy. That's going to go a long way in a new regime under Gerard Mayo and company. He has a lot of respect on that team. He can be an explosive player. He's a versatile player. And the Patriots need weapons, and they need to keep ones that have been playing well for them. I don't know what they decide to do with Devontae Parker or Juju Smith-Schuster. I know for a fact they're going to go after receivers in free agency in the draft. But Kendrick Bourne and getting him back was essential. They got back Hunter Henry. They got back Kendrick Bourne, the 2 guys that were most reliable and most dangerous within the offense for the past 3 years. So I'm happy. I'm excited. I'm a big Kendrick Bourne guy. We're blessed to have Bourne back on the Pats. Thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, Gronk spiked the like button. We'll see you soon. Deuces.